What's going on, guys? Gilly Writes Comics here, creator of Galactic Rodents of Mayhem, which recently got picked up by Scout Comics. Our debut issue will hit comic shops this December, I believe, and our 100-page plus volume will be going to all our backers who helped crowdfund this project, also later this year as well. Whew. So real quick, I wanted to talk about this book called Jawbreakers, and the reason why I want to talk about it is because this book made quite a chunk of change on crowdfunding on Indiegogo, and I didn't back it first time around, so I think they had a remastered edition which I backed, and you know, I like the concept of a 90s book, right? The 90s are back with a vengeance, right? Richard Meyer, he created Iron Sights, and I reviewed that. I wasn't crazy about that. Again, I liked some of the ideas, but I just think overall it was just, it wasn't a strong piece of work. Now, right off the bat, Jawbreakers, we have an amazing cover. I'm just talking about breathtaking. Okay, I mean, this cover is done by Ethan Van Sciver, who has a lot of industry credibility. He had 20 years in the biz, and this, I mean, the art is captivating, to say the least, right? So the logo's great. I mean, you kind of know what you're getting into, right? It says the 90s are back with a vengeance. So okay, it seems like a team, you know, a team-based, squad-oriented, military type book in the vein of, I want to say, maybe kind of like X-Men meets Expendables, kind of. You know, it's kind of, that's what the vibe I get. Remember, I didn't know too much about it, but again, I'm like, okay, you know, let's see what's going on. This was a big what they call a Comicscape book, and I definitely wanted to check it out. So right off the bat, again, you got amazing artwork. Okay, hands down, this is great. Okay, so one thing that I don't know all the characters here. I don't know if I should have known the characters before coming in, but you know, right off the back, we jump into, you know, like initially I'd like to meet the team, but we jump into, you know, some mayhem, and we're kind of like seeing what's going on. They're escaping something. We don't know what they did, but apparently they saved the city. And you know, while we're running, we save the city. I don't think they like how we save the city. You know, they killed something, this big old creature. Somehow he gets impaled on the Eiffel Tower, causing this, you know, catastrophic, you know, turn of events. They're on the run. They're running. And during all this, like, again, the visuals are great. Okay, the flow is actually good here. You know, what gets me a little bit is just, I mean, we're on the third page, and we know something big's going down. And then we're going on the fourth page, and then on the fifth page, you know, we go from Paris to Nigeria, and all we know is that they saved the city. But I don't know too much about the main character. I don't know too much about the team. You know, I mean, there's no introduction. There's no introduction to the team. Who's who? You pretty much just, you know, you're thrown in this thing, and how they escape, like kind of like real cool Ocean's 11 under the water. They get away, and they save the city. And then we jump into, we're in Nigeria, we're in Africa, and I guess they're from one mission to the next, right? And we're already a couple pages in. I still don't know too much who the main character is. I know we got this team called Jawbreakers. Again, I don't know much. I mean, one of the guys is named Cuffs. Okay, so Silkworm. So I guess he's one of the main guys. Silkworm. I mean, this dude here who looks like Blade is called Cuffs. But again, I don't know what's going on. Like, I get they're they're sought out for a mission by this character named Shashi. That's her name. We'll find out in a little bit. And she's offering some really cool jewels. And it's like, lady, you just bought yourself an army, but really they just bought the services of the Jawbreakers, who are really great. And we know they are good because of the first page. We know they saved the city. We don't know how they did it in a way that would have them be chased. And then again, we don't know much of the setup as far as just the overall ambitions. Overall, we know money is one thing they like. But at the same time, again, we're 6-7 pages in and we don't know much of the team, again. So one thing we do know is this guy Cuffs, he has a thing for Shashi. That's one thing we know. So like, if that's one thing they're playing on, okay. So apparently she needs them to do something, to find something. A few hours later, this is the last place he was seen. I think she wants them to rescue somebody or something like that. So they've been hired. I'm trying to hold on. Okay. The story you tell is it's okay later. So we go from here, and then the next panel we go from later. So apparently they talked a whole bunch from one panel to the next. But what they're setting up is that the story you tell is hard to believe. We don't know about the story. We don't get flashbacks of her story, which might be an interesting story. It's all true. If what your agent told me is correct, you've handled a situation like this recently. Show them what's in the bag. Okay, so again, I don't know what they wanted. So, okay, so basically, again, there's some brilliant moments here because, again, you can't go wrong with a 90s team setup, right? You can't go wrong with that. But in here you see how you can go wrong with it, because again, you could have a great artwork, you could have a great premise, but everything is in the execution. It's like you're putting together, some building blocks, right? You got your little Jenga building blocks, you're trying to make your story. But if you got some cool looking pieces and you just throw them on a table, you got a big old mess, but you're not building your tower, you're not building your story. They're looking for someone, and apparently they're driving, and apparently they're on something. You feel that he's close, tremors, rhythmic, like a heartbeat. Again, all this cool setup, it's cool imagery, and then boom, apparently they were driving on top of this King Kong wannabe thing, and apparently it shoots them up in the air. You could hardly see, but that's the Jeep and stuff they were in. They're flying out, and all of a sudden, they're attacking this huge creature. I love King Kong, I love Godzilla, but again, like, there has to be setup, there has to be stakes, there has to be some kind of buildup. It's like it goes from one action scene, barely any kind of story development, barely any character development, and then we jump into something else. And again, the imagery is great, but I mean, like I said, this is all frosting on the sundae, but without the sundae. You just it's like you just put a cup and you're just putting chocolate frosting in there, but there's no ice cream. There's no ice cream there. I'm looking for the story, I'm looking for the ice cream. So again, they're trying to react, and apparently this guy Koof, right, he's a Blade wannabe kind of guy. Hold up, I'm about to rock this fool. He punches his eye out with the power of 1,000 slaves. This team, I'm sure each guy has a specialty. They have an ability. They have a capability, something they specialize in, or a power. We don't know nothing like. We don't know. I know this guy could punch and knock King Kong's eyeball out of his socket, right? I get that, but why? How? Right? Again, it's all muddled. A lot of the character development here is muddled. There's what I want to say. There's cool elements here. Like the idea of a big ass King Kong getting his eyeball knocked out, and it lands on one of the guys here and it's rolling around, you know what I mean? Like that's cool, man. Here we have another character. I can't even remember this dude's name. And he's slitting, right here. I don't know if you can see it. He slits the heel of the King Kong. Basically, King Kong is getting his ass handed to him by this team, and quick, right? So again, there's no a lot of times we like, or at least I like stories where you see these badasses, but you want to know who's the main bad guy, badass, that's going to put these guys on their heels. That's going to put these guys through the grinder. That's going to really raise the stakes and push our heroes to the brink. We don't get that. We just get these guys who are pretty much just kicking ass. They're hardly in any kind of danger. And when they are, it's barely negligible. They just get out. So here we go. He gets launched up. I think it was Silkworm gets launched up by Cuffs, who says this is so demeaning, and he lifts him up and he launches him, and he's like a bullet right into the gorilla's face. So basically the gorilla gets knocked down. He's down. He's floored. They did it. They actually did it. Shashi can't believe they did it. She's saved. Shashi, it's over, girl. You're safe. I'm only safe when I'm with you. How the hell? She just met this dude. Where's that? I'm only safe when I'm with you. Like, just how and where? I mean, really? And again, I just want to say there's some great visuals here. There's some great visuals. I just want to clarify that the artwork, the color, everything is amazing. Now, here we go, which seems like a real capable bad guy right here, right? Cybernetic kind of arms, looking like a mix between some kind of Terminator with a cowboy hat, red eyes. Wow, we got our main bad guy, and it's only, I don't know, 15, 20 pages in when we meet some kind of what could be a real threat. I don't know, but when we keep on reading, there's basically no real threat. Apparently Shashi was working with this bad guy, who's the bad guy, I guess, to worry about. But we don't know, how he's going to factor in. Apparently he got two team members, the one that were trapped in the eyeball, if you were able to determine that they're here, and maybe he's using them as collateral. Then we got like a shaman kind of person here that, now this is again where we get some cool imagery, and we get the idea that this is a regular gorilla that kind of walked through a dimensional portal that was able to get abilities. That's really cool. That's an amazing premise. I mean, could you imagine, the kind of setup? I mean, and maybe that's how the Jawbreakers were sent in to, because they heard rumors of this large gorilla, and they're like, yeah, right. And I mean, that is great. And then there's a setup there. But again, it's just, it's super cloudy. It's hard to, understand what's going on. So much pain, so much damage. Give it to me. Give it all to me. This shaman comes out of nowhere. And basically, I mean, he's saying that, telling a little bit about the gorilla and about the portals and how it was here. And apparently he wants to protect the gorilla for some reason, because of what he represents to us all, to humanity. Okay, again, one thing that made King Kong so amazing was that you were able to humanize King Kong, right? He wasn't just some big gorilla that just wanted to destroy everything, right? When the leading lady, when he captured her or she was sacrificed to him, he didn't eat her. He looked at her. He was enamored by her. He wanted to protect her. Wow, we were able to humanize with King Kong because we saw that. You can't just tell us, that you want to protect this gorilla because he represents humanity without showing anything that resembles that. And then you have the main team, lighting him up, kicking his ass, knocking his eyeball out. It's just bad, man. I'm trying. It's like, again, there's flashes of brilliance here that could really work, but it's like a puzzle. If you got one cool scene in your mind, or you got one cool story idea, it's a jigsaw puzzle. You gotta fit it into a narrative framework. You don't just splash it out like that, because you got nothing with substance. So again, you got a cool imagery here. This shaman, who's apparently a 38-year-old guy. They say that somewhere in the dialogue. Here we go. He's like, I work in telecom. So basically, the shaman works in telecom. I'm telling you, there's so much fun here. So apparently, these are the guys that were kidnapped, right? And they're already snapping necks, right, to the guys who captured them, right? It's like 1 minute they're captured, and then the next minute they're snapping necks. Like, there's no threat. Like, there's nothing. And then they got cheesy liners here. Bet they didn't see that coming. And even he admits it. Lame. Like, again, there's nothing. Apparently they were set up by Shashi. She was the one that hired him to find this gorilla, because the dude with the cybernetic implants wants to find the gorilla for some reason. I think he wants the treasure that the gorilla had inside his body. I don't know, like it's hard. It was hard to follow only because I was uninterested. And it's not because of the visual. Like I said, you got some cool visuals here, but again, it's more than visuals. You need anything with writing, anything, you gotta make characters that we're gonna want to care about, and that's very easy it's easier said than done. Okay, so here we got cybernetic implant guy punching one of his lackeys in the stomach just because, you know, he wants to blame somebody because of the dudes that got away. Okay. Again, cool imagery with the portal dimensions opening, and for some reason they want him to get through so he can find his soul. They want this big monkey to find his soul. Why? I don't know. So here we go again. We have a situation where, let me see, this guy wants to do an attack on the Jawbreakers heroes. Here's one of the heroes. I don't know who this guy is. There's already body parts here. I don't know if you could see. And then the next shot, he's cutting up all these, you know, African militia villagers to shreds. There's no threat. There's nothing. I mean, the only threat here seems like the main bad guy here. And he's too busy not trying to engage the Hellbreakers. But again, the Jawbreakers. But again, the Jawbreakers are a 6-man team, whatever, 5-man team, but like they're all super OP. There's no damage. There's just nothing to root for. You know, it's like you're cheering on the bully in school when he picks on the lame kid and he's just whipping his ass. You're like, come on, bully, keep on kicking his ass. There's nothing here. So again, we have some situation. I guess already the bad guy is in trouble, right? He's in trouble. I got a job for you, girl, he says. Yes, Master. Shashi's like listening to everything he says. Shashi, they all care. You know, this guy Futz cares about Cuts or whatever his name is, cares about Shashi, right? Blade, right? Cares about Shashi, right? And the mad guy here, he's like, a simple offer. She lives, I go. So he just wants to get away. Like, you had two of their guys in captivity. Somehow the situation went, you know, beyond your control. And now you want to trade Shashi for your own escape. Deal, and it's a deal, and he gets Shashi, and yeah, we're all happy. Why? Where there's no buildup between her and Shashi to begin with. It's just physical attraction. But again, it happened too fast. And this is the part that really I don't understand, right? So after all this, and again, the crossfire, the gorilla's getting caught in the crossfire. We have Shashi, right? After she gets rescued, she hugs the Blade dude. She's just running all of a sudden to get the main bad guy. She just comes out of nowhere to get the main bad guy. And they're already getting choppered out. Here's their boy coming in a chopper to get them out because of the bombardment that the bad guy wanted issued against the Jawbreakers. It's hitting the gorilla. If I sound like I'm not making any sense, it's because the story was really hard to follow, or hard to care about. You know what I mean? Again, cool visuals. I don't know how a huge gorilla gets this long pole. I don't even know what this is. If I missed it, I'm sorry. Oh, but here's a little tidbit. If you missed all that right here, you get Shashi, right? Getting her neck cracked, right? I had such hopes for you. He used her as a pawn so the Jawbreakers could get into their mission, and all of a sudden she's already dead. She gets her neck cracked. She was the only interesting character for me because she was in between helping the Jawbreakers, caring about the Jawbreakers. Why, I don't know, but you know, she's gone that quick. And such an impactful moment, like the only impactful moment maybe in this book, it's relegated to this thin little panel here, but we get to see the cool gorilla just swinging at something. This is like, I want to say this is like a B-movie popcorn flick, but it's not even that good. You know, popcorn flick, it's like the action's so good that you forgive the cheesy plot. But even in the cheesy plot, there's stakes, there's high stakes, there's ambition, there's goal. Everywhere it's clear direction. You know, bad guy kidnapped, you know, good guy's girl. And then, Double Dragon. If you remember Double Dragon at NES, right? Right in the beginning, they steal the dude's girlfriend, right? And you got to go get her back. It's real simple. It's clear cut. Here, there's no motivation for what makes the Jawbreakers tick aside from, jewels, and that's it. And then here we go. They're going crazy. And then, of course, Shashi dead on the floor. And again, they're trying to get him to go in a portal. The portals are closing. This whole thing with this big gorilla and a portal could have been really cool and interesting, but again, it just fell flat. He's giving up. Apparently, the gorilla's giving up. No portals. I don't know. So guess what? Now we have the main bad guy. If you can see him, this is really him here. He's telling them to fire at the helicopter because now there's a helicopter, or maybe the gorilla, maybe just to kill him, I guess. But here we go. Take cover. Here we go. Right, the African villagers see this helicopter here, and of course you got cool pilot here saying "say cheese," right? Pulls the trigger, and this cool little effect of him tearing all the little poor African militia villagers to shreds, because they were never a threat to begin with. But let's just beat a dead horse to a bloody pulp, because why not, right? And then again, here we go. The main bad guy. You think he's gonna do something cool, right? Here we go. Is this guy serious? The guy in the pilot, right? Who just shredded his whole freaking platoon, right? You think that Cold War era Russian tank buster could take down a 21st century super cyborg? Wow, really cool. I'm here. Kill me. Come here. Kill me. I'm here. Come on, do it. Kill me. That was it. And then we have this cheesy line. And that, kids, is why pencils have erasers. There's no build-up for this. This guy, who I don't know, the pilot dude shouldn't be killing the main bad guy, right? The main bad guy needs to get killed by the main good guy. Storytelling 101. Or at least, if you're going to change it up, have ambition, have drive, have motive. Aside from just, pummeling, whoever's not on your side without remorse. It's hard to get into this. It's hard to enjoy this. And when they said that, Comics Gates didn't have writers, I remember hearing all that, and I remember really big trying to get onto that whole bandwagon. It's true. Like, when I look at this writing, it's shoddy. I can't even say it's shoddy at best. It's worse than shoddy. It's just, there's no payoff. There's nothing. It's menial, awesome artwork. Right? And it's menial because the story goes nowhere and takes you nowhere. You could have cool characters, but if there's no meat underneath their skin, they're vapid, humanless characters. I don't even know this dude's name. He looks cool. But, so then the gorilla finally gets into the portal. Okay, don't know what that's going to do. But here we go. We get a toast to Shashi, right? Here we go. A toast to Shashi, right? It says a toast to Shashi. To Shashi. She didn't live as a Jawbreaker, but she sure as hell died like one. I find that hard to believe because Jawbreakers can't die. From what I'm seeing, there's no threat. They're invincible. It's like when you play a video game and you put it on the easiest setting and you have all the cheat codes going on, and it's like you're totally safe. I can't get into that. And then apparently we need to care about him and his girlfriend or his daughter or whatever. This means nothing. And we get it at the end of the book, and there's no connection to me. And I think his name was Silkworm. There's just nothing there. So now here we go. The next story here, book 1 remastered. I didn't even read it. The art is not that great, but I'll say it's way better than anything I can do. So I'll give, the artist, I think Richard Meyer even wrote this, so I'll give him credit to that because he did something I can't do. I could write a hell of a great story. Richard C. Meyer, I'm not hard to find. If you need some work, man, I'll hook you up with a good rate because a lot of this stuff this is just bad. This is bad. Book 2, here we go. Book 2, the artwork seems pretty good. But again, it's just a lot of mindless action, and it's just mindless action. If you want to look at pictures to see cool things going on, and make up your own story maybe as you go, that will probably be a better experience than, what's going on here. Again, artwork's cool, but from what I read in the first couple of pages, I'm not convinced. Jawbreakers 2, 3, 4, 5, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, I have no interest in. And it's sad because there's a lot of promise here. And this could have been really good if maybe, you know, you would have got an editor, you would have took the time to really craft a great experience for those who really want to jump on to something that rivals mainstream comics, but I'm not seeing it here. And as someone who really did want to jump on board the CG bandwagon, you know, I never got a push, and I could, you know, it's okay, but I know how to craft a story, and it's hard to see, you know, stuff like this make really good amount of money and supposedly be heralded as really good because it raised X amount of money. It don't matter how much money you raise. You made that money, that's good. That's money in your bank. More power to you. But you can't brag. You can't brag. You can brag on how much you made money. You can say, hey, I swindled people if you want to go that far. You can brag on how much money you made. Yeah, you can definitely brag, but you can't brag on writing a good comic. That you can't do. And I really wanted to enjoy this. I really wanted to like it. And again, I back hard-earned money on this. And quite frankly, I'm going to be shipping this off to a buddy so he could read it and we could do a double review on this. But I said all that I had to say. This looks so professional. It's beautiful, man. It's 10 out of 10 in the art department, but a 3 out of 10 in consistent storytelling flow. You know, and that's what hurts a great book like this. And I mean, with all that money you raise, you should hire some ghostwriters, or at the very least, you know, try to get an editor and really look to work on your craft. Mr. Richard C. Meyer. But anyway, that's Gilly Writes Comics with my little review here. Let me know what you think. If you enjoyed Jawbreakers, hey, let me know what you liked about it. Let me know if you're looking forward to a sequel. If you're looking forward to anything else that Richard C. Meyer writes. I know that I am not. At the same time, definitely check me out. I have a fan comic going on with my buddy Ron, Christian Hero Geek. It's called DARTH, KRELL, COMETH. It's a Star Wars fan comic. You heard of fan films? I got a fan comic. I also have Lair on Indiegogo. That link will also be in the description. You know, I put work out there. You can judge my work. I also don't mind any critiques. I love hearing advice on how I can get better for you guys. But also, definitely like and subscribe. That's how I grow my channel, and that's how I can just connect more with other comic book fans who want to crowdfund or who just want to, you know, enjoy good stories. Till next time, guys. Later. Peace.